Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Thomas Jefferson said, "If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done." Benjamin Franklin said, "Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning." Basically, get off your duff, get to working, you've got dreams, you've got goals, you've got to do what it takes to get them. Like, subscribe, comment, show what your opinion is. Let me know if you like what you've seen. And I thank you for your support. Here's something interesting. It seems that at least one Army base is training their security and their Directorate of Emergency Services that pro-life organizations are to be treated as terrorist groups, and that any service member or their spouse is to be considered suspect if they've got a license tag or bumper sticker or something like that that is pro-life. This is interesting. So let's get into this real quick. Okay. U.S. Representatives Jim Banks, Republican, Indiana. Mike Rogers, Republican, Alabama. And let's see here. They were joined by Richard Hudson, Republican, North Carolina. Joe Wilson, Republican, South Carolina. Mike Turner, Republican, Ohio. Rob Whitman, Republican, Virginia. Austin Scott, Republican, Georgia. Sam Groves, Republican, Missouri. Okay, we're not going to go into all the names, but let's just say this. It's only Republicans that are involved with this. And they have sent a letter to Christine Wormuth, the Secretary of the Army. And this is after they found out Directorate of Emergency Services held at Fort Liberty. This is Fort Bragg, by the way. This is what they renamed Fort Bragg to, is Fort Liberty. They held training and also confirmed fears after the recent publication of Army Directorate 2407 handling of protest, extremist, and criminal gang activities. And in it, the training labeled several prominent and well-respected pro-life groups as violent extremists. The training also indicated the members of these organizations are threats to the safety of military installations and designated symbols of pro-life groups, including state-issued pro-life license plates, as indicators of terrorism. And this Army Directive 2407, handling protest, extremist, and criminal gang activities. The Army is utilizing an overly broad policy to police the speech of conservative service members, quiet dissent, and require service members who believe in conservative ideals to hide their identities for fear of retaliation from their commands. This is weird. Even more disturbing is who this training is conducted for. 47 uniformed soldiers tasked with guarding the access points for Fort Liberty. Training the installation guards to ensure that service members and their families who have pro-life license plates should be considered suspicious and possible terroristic threats to the installation. And they're being trained to profile conservatives for their political leanings. And by the way, none of this training stuff has been handed over to Congress like they're legally supposed to do. Okay, just to give you a quick rundown on Christine Wormuth. Uh, Her husband was military, but she herself has never been military. Her work in the government was under Obama, Clinton, and Biden. She's been a presidential management intern. Worked as a 6.5 years as a civil servant at the Defense Department, and under Obama, she was Undersecretary of Defense for Policy. Under Biden, she became the Secretary of the Army. She also served on the National Security Council under Obama as the Special Assistant to the President and the Defense Policy and Strategy Senior Director. Outside the government, she worked for the RAND International Security and Defense Policy Center. And before that, she worked for the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Both of those are considered bipartisan. They also have their controversies. The Center for Strategic and International Studies gets a lot of funding from foreign governments, UAE, and various groups like Germany, China, Japan, various governments. And Rand Corporation they research so much stuff that they do several bits of research that can be considered a little controversial. That's not surprising because if you look at the Rand Corporation. Her husband currently serves as Deputy Assistant Secretary for CWMD Strategy, Plans, and Policy in the Department of Homeland Security. So, basic Democrat bureaucrat. So, she hasn't worked outside of that. So, this is why she would want this policy. Now, according to the Carolina Journal, the slides that were used for this training, they listed National Right to Life, Operation Rescue, and they said, according to the Carolina Journal, these slides have been being used for 7 years at Liberty/Bragg, which is really interesting. I think people need to know about this because let's see here. According to Senator Budd, totally outrageous and unacceptable. Army must fully renounce this attack on pro-life Americans. And according to Wormuth, said that the slides do not represent the official policy or views of the U.S. Army and predate Army Directive 2024-07 handling protest, extremist, and criminal gang activities. Well, if it does, why is it that one of the slides, I'm literally looking at it. Hopefully I'll put this up here. It says terrorist groups. And under it says anti-abortion, right to life, and Operation Rescue, pro-life, opposes Roe v. Wade, and the spelling is horrible, types of advocacy, demonstrations and protests, mass demonstrations, life chain, the rescue, the truth display, picketing, counseling, sidewalk, crisis center, license plate. Really? This is... Independent journalist Sam Shoemate shared an image of this. I'm trying to see if I can... Okay, I'll be able to put this up But this is what they're doing. And so we need to pay attention to these things. It has been listing this for 7 years, even though members of Congress are just now finding this out. That's a stupid thing. And if they're listing anti-abortion / pro-life groups, this is quite a chunk of America. And you're saying that people who have religious beliefs that are against abortion are extremist? Okay, there have been extreme actions by people that are pro-life, but it doesn't mean that all of them are. But you're supposed to treat them like they're suspicious? I honestly believe that this is idiotic, for the simple fact of that if you start attacking these people, you're going to start causing, if it starts getting out that the army is this way, which this does, you're literally going to start seeing an even bigger drop in those that are willing to sign up for the army. Because right now it's just the army that's officially listed so far. Why in the world, seriously, why in the world are we supposed to allow this? Now, mind you, one of the biggest studies from this, notice I said that Wormuth came from Rand Corporation. One of the biggest studies on this came from Rand Corporation. It said a variety of factors lead military members to be attracted to extremist movements, like having a passion for political change, looking for a sense of belonging, and seeking excitement. For veterans who leave active duty and lose their sense of belonging or purpose from job in the military, the connection is clear. But there are a host of other experiences that can influence people to become extremist followers. So, you're saying this is what an extremist is? I honestly think that we need to start examining what is going on with our military even more. Then again, though, I'm a small government person, think that there's a whole lot of things that I think need to be re-examined. So, but this has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. I thought you might be interested in hearing about this. Y'all have a good day now, and bye.